I am so excited and so honored to welcome none other than Don Trump Jr. himself, the eldest son of Mr. Donald Trump, running for president of the United States of America, who just blessed us and graced us with a call. Mr. Don Trump, are you with me, sir?
I'm with you, buddy. How are you, Mark?
Wow, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Colors Unite. I'm so honored that you're here. I hope you're listening. Everybody's loving your family.
Well, I'm glad. I'm really glad to hear that, man. It's great to hear those kind of things. It's great to hear you. One day you're going to teach me how to speak as well as you, because I've heard you over the last couple of weeks doing some of the warm-up acts for my father, and it's amazing. So I just really appreciate all the support.
Well, I tell you, we believe in you, Don. We believe in your father. We believe in what Mr. Trump stands for in this country. Man, let me just give you a prime example of the character of Mr. Trump for all of our listeners who are watching right now. The very fact that Don, in his extremely busy schedule, and right now we have literally thousands are watching all over the world, in his extremely busy schedule, took time out of his exhausting schedule. I mean, he is a father. He's a businessman. He is with his father on the campaign. I was just blessed to be with him on the Air Force, Trump Force One. But yet he took time in a split of a moment just to call in to say hello to our viewers who are watching. That's real character. Who does this kind of a stuff, Don? I mean, who does that?
Well, buddy, we just make time. Right now I feel like I'm working 3 full-time jobs because I have 5 kids. And as you know, I try to be a very active father. I don't want someone else raising my kids. I want to make sure that my wife and I are doing that. And, she's been amazing through this process because, again, I've been gone and on the road so much because not only am I doing my day job as well as being a father, but, also spending so much time on the campaign trail. It really is 3 full-time jobs, father first, business guy, and, I guess pseudo-politician. So it's been a rough 18 months, but we got to do it because, we believe in this country, and I believe in what my father can do for this country. I've seen him do it time and time again with businesses. I've seen the jobs that he creates, and I know the guy, not the guy, the stereotype that everyone tries to put out there, but the guy that's, created tens of thousands of jobs, the guy that's given, workers that started off in blue-collar positions that didn't have diplomas and didn't have fancy college degrees and all these things, but giving them real opportunities because he saw street smarts. He saw someone that knew what they were talking about. He saw someone with an incredible work ethic. So he made someone that wasn't an executive. He made them an executive and, gave them opportunities that no one else would have ever taken that risk. No one else would have ever taken that chance. But he's a really good judge of character. He sees that kind of in people. And, I think he wants to create that kind of dynamic for the country. He wants to make sure that everyone who puts in the time, who puts in that work, it will get that chance, not just because they, went to the fancy schools and stuff like that, but because they just deserve it because they're smart, they've done it, they work hard, and they don't quit.
See,
and that's the kind of guy he is.
That's why we need him to become the next president of the United States. The phones are lighting up. The phones are lighting up because they understand the power. The fact that you talked about being a father first, you learned that from your father. You learned being a family man is more important. Talk about it.
Well, 100%. I mean, that's the way he is. I mean, listen, he was a business guy, and that's what he did. But he taught us about that from a young age. I remember he had the biggest business executives in the world, in his office. And if we showed up, I could be 4, 5, 6 years old. If we showed up or we called him at work, he put them on hold, not us on hold.
See,
and he took that phone call and he entertained us, and we could be distracting, we could be making noise, and he'd go about doing his business, but he always, made himself available for that, and for us. And I think, if this country could do a little bit more in terms of family construct, having, making that kind of availability,
yes.
I mean, I think that pays off. And so I know what that did for me. So despite how crazy it is, I have my 3 boys in the car, and I'm a father of 5, but I got my 3 boys, and my wife took the girls for a girl weekend. I took my 3 boys by myself, no nannies, no babysitters, none of that nonsense. And, we went upstate, and we did some fishing and some this, and, good father-son time. And, now they're all passed out. I'm actually driving in my car, which is how I heard it. I'm driving in my car, and they passed out, so I'm calling in. And so, because I'm on hands-free, obviously, if they wake up and start making some noise, I apologize. But
No,
that's
I
what we got to
love
do.
it.
We got to do it all when we can.
I love it. See, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, that's real family. I've been going across the country on every major network talking about the character of Donald Trump. CNN, Fox News, CNN, those liberal medias, MSNBC, they won't show that to the world. But to hear
No.
from your own, this is, fathers create fathers. Fathers
Correct.
beget fathers. And that's the type of a leader we need in this country, a person who is compassionate, a person who is, and that's the phase we're in. Donald Trump, he has proven that he is a warrior, he is a fighter, he is a winner, and now he is showing the world how compassionate he is for the disenfranchised, for the low income. And just like that caller who worked for your family, worked for you, worked for your father, talked about how amazing your father was and how the Trump family is. And again, we're not paying people to call in. I want you to know, people just call. This is no paid show. This is just people who are calling in literally from all over the country and from other the world. We've had people internationally to call in, and they're just talking about how much they love black families, white families, and bringing people together. And you just amazing. I'm going to say this, and I know you're busy because you're a father, you're working, and I just want to honor you for taking time out of your busy schedule to call us, so I won't keep you long at all. But this is just prime example. America, listen to me. This is why we need to elect Donald Trump to become the next president of the United States of America. We need families. We need to interject families. There are too many broken families. And Don, you are a prime example. Sir, I salute you for being an outstanding father. Believe it or not, you're allowing the spirit of jealousy to come over me right now because I didn't get to take my boys fishing this weekend, so I'm feeling pretty bad right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got to do it when you got to do it. You got to make the time. It's not always easy, and 5 o'clock tomorrow I'll be up and back on the trail and working hard all week because we got to get him in there. We got to get this country back on the right track.
Right. Well, listen, before you go, tell the people one last thing briefly before you go, why we need to elect your father to be the next president of the United States of America.
The simplest answer I can give you is, look at what Washington has done to this country. Look at what people who've never created jobs have done for jobs. Look at what they've done for, anyone, whether it's the inner cities or everyone else. I hear a lot of promises and I don't see much delivery. It's time for a change. I think it's time to elect someone who's actually created jobs, not just who talks about it in theory. There's a big difference between theory and practice.
Right.
Everyone can talk about doing something very easily, having never done it. Actually getting up and doing it is a whole different story. And, this is a guy that's done this for years. And by the way, and you know this better than anyone, the liberal media and everyone, they flip sides really quickly. But, he's had friends across the spectrum.
Yes.
Black, white, every other color spectrum in there. The second you become a conservative, the second you become, a Republican, all of a sudden, those guys make their choices to do this. But, half of them, I remember having family dinner with half the guys that are saying, dozens of times that are saying all these things now. Well, where was the problem then? It's only when you become a politician and you're a conservative that's
now
the
you're
problem.
racist.
So those guys all know the real man. And I would just ask people not to be blinded by the liberal media and the nonsense that they perpetrate, because what, I'll say this about my father is, even though he knows that, even though he knows they're against him, he still puts himself out there. He still goes and does every interview with the guys that love us, and just many more, frankly, with the guys that don't, and the guys that are going after us every day. And he still puts himself up there, whereas our opponent is just sitting there hiding, not doing any press conferences, not doing anything, because you know what? My father's always going to speak his mind. He's always going to say what he's going to say, despite how they twist it. He'll put himself out there, and he's going to fight for you that same way, and not pull punches. He's going to say what needs to be said to get us on the right track, and I think that's important, because hiding from the truth doesn't help anyone.
Wow, that is so powerful. And you're so right, Don. Your father fought for me this weekend on MSNBC. He said on Twitter, I demand an apology. that how they treated great Pastor Mark Burns, I was just blown away that he took the time out of his schedule to even say that. And I thank you, Don, and I thank your father. Listen, thank you so much for joining us on the colors that unite. The phones are going off the hook because you're inspiring Americans, Don. You are inspiring Americans right now. They want to be they want to be connected to your father. They want to help him. And I don't know if you heard the callers, the black and white from Ohio, one of the battleground states, one of your lead campaign managers. She is down there working. We're breaking those color barriers, Don. We're breaking, and your father is going to help. He's going to help us continue to get us where we're not focusing on those colors that divide us, but focusing on those colors that unite us. It is not racist to be proud to be in America. I love you so much, Don. Thank you for calling in.
You too, my friend. Thank you very much, Pastor. It was awesome speaking to you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, my friend.
Absolutely. God bless you. Kiss them babies for me and kiss your wife. Tell her we see her soon.
I will do that, my friend. Be well.
Amen. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Don Trump Jr. right here live on RSBN.TV on the colors that unite. Listen, this is how we do it here, and that just shows you the character, the love, the real person of the Trump family. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this up. This is not an act for them. This is not an act for them. Unlike Hillary Rodham Clinton, they put on a great act for the American public. This is not an act for the Trump family. They're not going to be conformed to whatever you want them to be conformed to. As you heard Don himself call in at last moment, just last moment. It wasn't even scheduled to do it. But while he has his 3 sons and being a father, he still took time out to show love to us here on RSBN and the colors that unite. Family,